All right. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. My name is Stephanie Dawson. My pronouns are she, her. You can see my wonderful team here. I believe someone's going to put into the chat all of our names and pronouns. And I just want to acknowledge the land I'm coming to you from is the Munse Lenape and Canarse lands. I just want to thank everyone for attending. We want to share with you what we believe is the next step in independent film ideation, creation, and distribution. After our presentation today, we know you will agree and you'll want to help us achieve this revolutionary yet compassionate new path for the industry, the Storytellers Cooperative, or co-op for short. The Storytellers Co-op is a member-owned, member-controlled business that operates for the benefit of audiences, content creators, financiers, and the distributors. The Storytellers Co-op follows a participation model that engages all of the parties and stakeholders from development through to distribution to ensure that audiences are getting what they want, creators have a sustainable career, financiers can make their money back, all while involving the community and meeting the people where they are.
Think about the Storyteller Co-op like a cooperative community garden. Everyone who is a member and who engages supporting the growth of the garden eventually gets to receive the fruits of their contribution. We built this system led by these core values to ensure equity, community, and sustainability, foundation of integrity, culture of connection, expanded impact, a safe space, including diversity and inclusion, sustainability, and equity as financial stake, which Shanyse is now going to explain.
Okay, the Storytellers Co-op envisions equity, not just as a financial stake, but a creative stake in the project and in the company. And there are 5 different ways to earn equity in the co-op: creative, sweat, in-kind, financial, and impact. Creative. Storytellers and content creators who develop their projects through the co-op receive equity in percentages based on meeting milestones. Those milestones will be addressed when Marissa talks to you about the production pathway. Sweat. Anyone who volunteers and gives their time will earn equity based on the number of hours they work and how many audience members, financiers, or other resources they bring in. In kind. Anyone who is kind enough to give of their time and their resources to the co-op will earn equity, which is dependent upon the value of their contribution. Financial. Equity will also be earned for-profit financial contributions and investments on co-op projects. Impact. The final piece of our equity pie is different. And this is where the non-for-profit arm comes in, acting as fiscal sponsor, receiving money from those who would rather take a tax deduction in lieu of equity in the co-op. This 20% will be reinvested in education and several other areas to strengthen our commitment to diversity and inclusion.
As we stated, our core mission is to really build community. So instead of the mainstream Hollywood one-size-fits-all kind of model, we're using the grassroots approach, going local and building from the community out. So we're using the hub and spoke model, which allows us to consolidate resources, financing, and distribution markets by region so we can serve the audience and the creative communities. This will also make space for those who have been left behind from the traditional filmmaking community. We're going to have 3 levels. The national level of the organization handles the administration of programming, all the distribution deals across national and international theatrical, digital, travel and hospitality, and educational institutions. On a more regional basis, the Storytellers Co-op will host in-person opportunities to network and allow our content creators to share their content. More locally, the co-op will provide the necessary support, in-person resources, events, and development and training to nurture local talent. This segment will also develop relationships with non-traditional exhibitors, such as places of worship, community centers, local gathering places, so that we can really involve the community. And it's a way that we can have the stakeholders build deep roots into their local community.
Any content creator can join the Storytellers Co-op, but when they are ready to make a project, the Storytellers Co-op uses a selective 5-phase iterative process for project development. To get started, the content creator submits a project idea and timeline that they want to deliver against that works for their schedule. This allows people to develop at their own pace and not have to hit certain deadlines should they have children and or full-time jobs. It makes room for content creators who may not have extensive CVs to build credibility as they go through the process and deliver great work on deadline. Everyone is involved in the process, and the co-op members vote to advance to the next stage, reiterate the current stage, or remove the project from the co-op development process. In the event of some sort of conflict, a yearly elected board composed of content creators, financiers, and audience representatives will help resolve any conflicts, and every group is equally represented.
Project equity. Every project in the Storytellers Co-op will fall under a waterfall framework that allows the creatives and the crew to benefit from the financial success of a film, even if they are not a part of the co-op. How, do you ask? I will tell you how. Because there's a distribution network built into the Storytellers Co-op, which eliminates distribution fees. And every project will split the revenue between the Storytellers Co-op and the LLC created to support the project 70-30, in which the filmmaker and the crew are profit participants.
So Shanyse mentioned our distribution fees, or distribution is built into the co-op. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you about how the co-op generates revenue. So certainly distribution is a way that we generate revenue, both on the B2B and the B2C side. On the B2B side is through licensing fees with exhibitors, advertising and sponsorships, both on our platforms and supporting our touring efforts that Stephanie will talk about later. And on the B2C side, there's subscription fees from the consumer to the co-op developed VOD platform and to a Birchbox style DVD or Blu-ray box for those folks that still like to have that physical media in their hand, so that they can get exposure to different types of content coming to them every month. In addition, also on the B2C side, we have event screening and ticket sales, again, through our touring model, which Stephanie will talk about later. I just want to go back to our commitment to sustainability and a safe space, in that our B2C offerings will have a sliding scale so that people of all different financial walks of life can access the content wherever they are. Now, going back to the B2B side, I just want to point out, we also have a for-hire content project component so that brands and companies and nonprofits or community organizations, or really anybody that does need content created at the national, regional, or local level, can also hire the co-op to create the content, bringing more revenue into the organization. So to talk about the B2B licenses, so we are looking at that co-distributed or locally distributed distribution model that does incorporate large platforms like Netflix, as well as local organizations like arts organizations, nonprofits, libraries, religious centers, municipalities, as well as national organizations like airlines, all paying money into the co-op to receive that exhibition license, whether it's a subscription or a one-time offer. But in addition to being able to paying for the content, they can also send content ideas flowing into the co-op as well. So if these local organizations, especially at that level, understand, hey, our audience needs this type of content, or we're really interested, or we have a hunger for it, can the co-op create this or run this through the production pathway or the development pathway, so that content can be created specifically for the organizations, not just for hire, but also from a narrative standpoint as well.
And so the way that we reach the community is we have a component that basically encompasses Broadway style tours that will bring immersive screening events to local communities to fulfill 3 key goals. 1, cross-pollinating content between different communities, allowing diverse storytellers to reach audiences that they may not have traditionally. Host eventized experiences that support local vendors, merchants, artists, so they can be part of that process of really engaging the community. And to provide a unique, accommodating experience to reach people who may have avoided traditional venues and share our content in exciting ways. So what sets the Storyteller Co-op apart is that these viewing experiences will be immersive. We're going to really just engage local community and invite vendors and artisans from the local space to be a part of this project from start to finish. So the community is really engaged.
Okay, the co-op will be served by an initial cash infusion either from a financier, a grant, a member-funded effort to support the launch of the co-op. You can read the bullet points, but ideally the initiation funds would be between $50,000 and $100,000. Additionally, the Storytellers Co-op would be served by coming together of the members of each group, content creators, financiers, audience members, each committed to the core values outlined above.
This concludes our presentation and starts us on the path to bringing independent filmmaking into the community-based model. Thank you so much for your time.